Hi everyone, welcome to our latest video in the Head in the Cloud series hosted by Citrus Global. Here with me today is Mohamed Maamoun, who's an IT architect and the co-founder at BringLeesel. Mo, it's a pleasure to have you here today. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Hey Jack, thank you very much for having me. My name is Mohamed Maamoun. I live in Hamburg, Germany for the past 10 years, or a little more so. I finished school in Cairo, Egypt. I have a degree in computer science, and then I have been working over the past maybe 13 years in different places, with more focus in the past few years, the past 5-6 years on startups and in fintech.
Yep.
Until last year when I switched to logistics when I started doing my freelancing again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice, good. Well, this year's been a challenging one for everyone, hasn't it, really? With coronavirus, it's certainly impacted everyone in some way, shape or form. How was lockdown for you, Mo?
Well, I'm a cup is half full kind of person, so I see it. There are definitely all the challenges that came with it, and everybody has had their share of it.
Yeah.
But what I found more interesting is the questions it posed on myself, my work routines, and the questions it brought to the business and how it affected our priorities. So in BringLeesel, where I do all the IT the management and manage the development team there, we definitely had to adjust in different ways. The first thing that we had to adjust to was communication, because we've always been working almost with remotely. We took on the phone,
Yeah.
but now with the crisis happening, we had no chance to sit together and do our like new priorities meetings or do the planning. When the lockdown happened, it happened kind of overnight, and obviously you spend the first couple of weeks pretty much just doing Corona features, both in my BringLeesel with my colleagues there, my partners, and in my freelancing job. So in this job, I work for, I'm freelancing with one of the major logistics company in Germany.
Yeah.
And obviously, logistics and post were one of the areas that were faced with a lot of pressure and a lot of new requests, new customers, especially at the first weeks of the lockdown.
Yeah.
So Corona features, top of the list, working over hours, trying to get things to run smoothly. At the same time, in BringLeesel, where we do, we actually in BringLeesel, we sell grocery products to the senior homes across Germany, right? So you can imagine, yeah. So when the lockdown happened, when Corona became had affected the scene, what happened was we suddenly also faced a flood of new customers and new orders. So much so that we had to, within 2 weeks, find a new warehouse and move all the products there and everything to be able to accommodate. And at the same time, we were in the middle of a migration, so system migration from one old system to a new one, and then suddenly we had to adjust accordingly. So it was like, okay, I have a full day at work from home. I have Corona features on my job. I have Corona features at the BringLeesel, and if now it's the time to find a way to come around this. It's a big challenge, but it was also, I must say, it's been a lot of fun. Bringing all these things together. Yeah.
That's good. What were the biggest frustrations for you from a personal perspective? Obviously, you were freelancing, and from a business perspective, there at BringLeesel, so you had it at both ends of the spectrum, really.
Yeah. I don't know if there were much frustrations.
Okay, good.
There weren't much, but there was just challenge first of all of balancing both. So there's first the new fact that I'm working from home. So when you're working from home, you're pretty much always at work, right?
Very true.
Then, yeah, and which has its benefits in that I have more hours in the day to focus on my work, and has disadvantages, which is that I'm always at work, so it's difficult to have a clear cut.
Yeah.
But the what I wouldn't say in the frustration, but the coolest thing is, for me at least, was you always talk in IT departments. You always talk about good architecture and good solutions and how you should develop them and all these sort of things. And at BringLeesel, as well as in my job, we were lucky enough that we, from the start, always focused on keeping a healthy product, a kind of resilient product. We've always worked in a kind of an agile way doing business, work with sprints, with tickets, and always being adaptive, having kind of short-term plans, but some plan of sort, and having to work from home in BringLeesel with development team that sits in different countries in Europe, in Eastern Europe, and a warehouse in Lübeck, and the headquarters in Berlin. My job here in Hamburg, it was really the time to have to reconsider the entire way of working and organizing your day. And I think it was really a great experience. It was really, I don't think I've been as productive and as enjoying as I did in the past period since the beginning of lockdown.
Right.
It's been really awesome. In this regard, not in other regards.
That's good. Would you say that your priorities have altered? And if so,
absolutely,
how?
Yeah.
Or what?
Absolutely. So at BringLeesel, like I said, we suddenly we're faced with the dilemma that we have a whole lot of new customers. We don't know when this is going to end, how it's going to be, and we suddenly have to accommodate all that. So the priorities had to change to, first of all, for example, prioritize the BI system that we had to do. So we have always had in the plan. We started working. We have it. We've been working on it. But then suddenly, because of the changes, we was like, okay, we really need to be ahead of our well informed about every aspect of the business. So all the BI system we had to build it up and get it up there and running. We had to work on take a deeper look at the processes and how to optimize them. So, for example, in the warehouse, we have the workers coming in, they out packing the products, preparing them out, and you have to think about what kind of features, what kind of new capabilities we can add to our system that will bring the most value at the shortest time, and how can we keep the development going after the crisis. So we have a team that is in different countries, in Ukraine and in Poland, and myself in Hamburg as developers, and our communication and our development had to stay in such a way such that we can all work together, depending on our country status, or how the country develops with the corona, without interruption. And this is for us, which means that we had to pay more attention to the architecture itself of the system and how to make it more, cut out the dependencies as much as possible, so everybody can do the work easily.
Great. What would you say are the main lessons that you have learned throughout all of this?
I think the biggest lesson to have learned is that things can change overnight.
Very true.
And and in such a way that is very drastic and unforeseeable. So you always have to account for that, for sure. But also the importance of striking or finding the best balance for growth as a company or in terms of feature, for example, IT, and whilst keeping a healthy product. So if we, for example, if our architecture or our system was not as resilient or agile as it was before, then we would have faced some other problems. We would have found a way, but at a higher cost, if you will. There's always a way around it, but keeping an eye on the health and keeping an eye on the system, making sure that things are flexible, staying up to date on the best practices. These all things pay off in such times, very much so.
Yeah, okay, interesting. Very interesting. What do you think's here to stay as a result of all this now? I know there's been a bit of a shift in the mindset with working from home and areas like that, but what do you think's here to stay as a result of all that's happened this year?
I think, and going out to the limb here, I think that a 40 hours week in the office is a thing of the past now.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd agree on
uh,
that. Yeah,
yeah, and not only because of and it's not only because of how long the pandemic is going to go on, or the virus is going to go on, but
yeah,
rather because a lot of companies have seen how much different things can differently be done,
hmm
especially in the IT area.
yeah,
If you compare it to the auto industry, for example, it's a more than 100 years old industry with all the best practices, very well known and very well formed and very well established. But in the IT, which is comparatively much younger, I think the new shift in paradigm of having to find a balance between working from home and working from the office has
yeah,
forced everybody to realize that we can do a different way of doing things.
yeah. More flexibility, isn't there? And I think a lot of businesses now will give more trust in their employees or external people as well to get the work done from home, because at the end of the day, everyone had to throughout this pandemic and throughout the crisis. What advice would you give to businesses moving forwards, Mo?
Um, I'd say the best thing you can do is obviously to build a healthy team, a team of individuals who are um, very well involved in the process, who have a good sense of participation and responsibility to what they're doing.
hmm
This will get you through a lot, because in times like these, you really need to rely on you really need to have people behind you who understand and appreciate what's happening and have a deep understanding.
Yeah,
I also think I would give advice is that um, it's there are always new opportunities on the corner, and the corona has been the greatest example. A
yeah,
lot of frustrations, a lot of changes, without a question, no doubt about it. A lot of newly introduced risks, no doubt about it. But also the new opportunities that are opened, if you stay focused on them, you will everybody can come out of it with a good win.
yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Hopefully that is the case in the end. I mean, certainly businesses that have prospered or sectors that have prospered in this crisis, and many that haven't, of course. But yeah, it's been a difficult time. But yeah, as you say, it's good that you're a glass half full sort of guy, and I think that's a good outlook to have. I share that as well, to be fair.
Yeah,
What would
thank
you
you.
what would you ask of a modern talent partner now then, given the new circumstances of it all?
Um, I would, for a town partner, I would ask them to consider, I mean, to consider new ways of building relationships between the employee and employers, and the kind of, and you come up with new propositions for how things should work together. So the old way of doing things, if you have an employee coming into the office 40 hours a week, doing his job in and out, is kind of obsolete. And to be able to work from home productively, there are multiple considerations to be taken, and they are not only necessarily technical. It's also about it's highly related, in my opinion, to the personal characters or qualities, if you will,
Mhm.
and the chemistry between the people working together.
Yeah,
And I think the talent hunters or the headhunters in your area are the most people who can help figure out who would be a good fit together, how people can come together and how can what is in the market required, what do people expect, and so on and so forth. And bringing all these views together would really be, I think this is where the part where you guys would shine a lot. Because in the business, you know your people,
yeah,
and
true.
out in the market, you don't know what's happening in the other companies and so on.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. Well, that's pretty much it from me. I mean, I'd like to thank you again for being a guest on the Head in the Cloud series. Hopefully, we can have you again in the future, in a future series, and we can look back on this time, as you say, with a glass half full mindset, and yeah, look and sort of smile at it looking back. But if there's anything else that you'd like to add?
Not much, except that just yeah, I hope that this whole thing passes on soon. It's something, one of the things that's really proven that we're all across the world in it together, and I really, and it's been yeah, it's been a very eye-opening experience to go through.
I totally agree. Yeah. Well, thank you very much for your time. I wish you a successful year, both from a freelance perspective and, of course, for your company as well at BringLeesel. But yeah, in the meantime, take care, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you.